Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let's open our morning meditation with me, the Jackal Bruit. That's fruit with a B, not like a brutish monster, with some stretches. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to stretch them as far as the east is from the west. Oh, feel that stretch. Lean into it, east, west. Okay, now up and down. Oh. I'll spin that head all around. Now the other way. Okay, now chin to the sky, chin to the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Feel that tension leaving your body, hopefully. Okay, now prayer pose. We're going to do deep breathing. We're going to focus on the four corners of a square. So we'll do one square breath in, one square breath out, and we'll do that 3 or 4 times, as many times as it feels like I need it. And if I need it, probably you do too. So are we ready? So we'll breathe in, four corners of the square, out four corners of the square. And in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Okay. Hopefully that felt as good for you as it did for me. Now we will move on to our daily square proverb. You can find the daily square proverb over on the Church of the Codex Facebook page. I try to post it there before I even go live here. So, oh, hello, Tyrone Spites. Nice to see you. So our daily square proverb comes from the tail end of chapter 7, the beginning of chapter 8. So chapter 7, verse 26, and it goes into chapter 8, verse 2. And for a little bit of, some clarification, where are you? Because I have a son that has to be on the bus at 7, and it takes him a while to wake up. So I have to wake him up at 6:15, and then so for him to have enough time to wake up, and because I want to do this morning meditation for everybody, really the question is why are you up, not why am I up? Gotta go. All right. Thanks for joining in for just a few minutes. Hopefully you'll be able to catch the VOD of this once it's uploaded, since you won't be able to catch the live. Anyway, so our square daily proverb, chapter 7, verse 26, out of the ESV translation. For many a victim has she laid low, and all her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the chambers of death. The blessings of wisdom. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand. May the Lord add blessings to those with ears to hear. So that was, like I said, Proverbs chapter 7, verse 26, all the way through chapter 8, verse 2, out of the ESV translation. If you would like to see the fancy square proverb graphic, why it's called a daily square proverb, you can go to the Church of the Codex Facebook page. Maybe as the VOD, maybe I'll add a link directly to this post. But the point, or the message for today's morning meditation is actually going to, I've been chewing on, been meditating on the concept of the phrase, the idle hands are the devil's handiwork, or the devil's playground, some people might say. And it turns out, according to the Google, that is not actually a biblical phrase. However, there were some verses that the Google recommended to me that maybe hint at why that phrase became popular. So the first one that the Google recommended is Proverbs 16, verse 27. So I'm going to be reading again from the ESV. This is actually my ESV study Bible, so it's a nice thick, hefty. If you are really ready to dive into and study the Word, not just read the Word, I would highly recommend getting a study Bible in your favorite translation. Hopefully, your favorite translation offers a study Bible. But Proverbs 16, verse 27 reads that a worthless man, keep in mind, when it says man, it could be man or woman. So a worthless human plots evil. So plots or plans or intends to do evil. And his speech, or really their speech, because when the ESV was written, most of the things were written towards a man, but I think this is applicable both to men and women. So a worthless human plots evil, and their speech is like a scorching fire. Now imagine that. Can you think of anybody? Does anybody pop in your head who just seemingly everything they say is just nasty and fire and horribleness, and just that anything that comes out is just wicked and nasty? Well, this verse to me, this verse in Proverbs kind of implies that, reading it backwards, that a person whose speech is like a scorching fire, well, they're a worthless person that just plots evil. So hopefully there wasn't too many people, or maybe even nobody came to mind when I read that, about somebody whose speech is like a scorching fire. But sadly, in this day and age, there probably was somebody that came to mind who who's you can't get along with them. They always seem to burn you. I mean, literally now what's coming to mind is Kelso from That 70s Show, where somebody would crack a joke at somebody else's expense, really poking fun at them, saying something mean, and he would literally go, "Burn!" Like that image comes to mind there of someone whose speech is like a scorching fire. So we are cautioned here in Proverbs that, if unless you want to be known as somebody who plots evil, who's planning to do wicked, nasty things, then instead of your speech being like a scorching fire, well, maybe perhaps your speech should be like a cool drink of water, something that's refreshing to a parched traveler. But getting to the phrase, "idle hands are the devil's playground," Google also recommended to me 2 Thessalonians 3, verse 11. So I'm going to go ahead and look that up here. So 3 verse 11. "For we hear that some among you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but busy bodies." So there's now that first phrase of kind of linking, idleness or busy bodies, but it says that you're not busy at work, but you are busy bodies. So there's a clear distinction of, well, what does it mean to be busy, but not be busy, but instead be a busybody? Well, it turns out, thankfully, here in this ESV Study Bible, that verse, specifically that calling out that busybody, is it's called as, it has a footnote to D. So if I go down to the D footnote and I look in chapter 3, verse 11, the footnote is that here's the problem. That they're not busy at work, but they are busy bodies. There's a word play here in Greek, not whatever that word means, not however that word says, which means working. Ergazomonius, I'm going to go with ergazomonis. Oh, hello there, Wonder Horse. So instead of ergazomonis, but periasergomonis, which means being a busybody or meddling. So you're meddling in the, what's the channel about? Oh my, what's this channel not about? This is my playground channel. So I do my morning meditation, which is a little bit of music. So we'll get to today's music is going to be out of the Worship and Rejoice hymnal, published by the Hope Publishing Company. Hymn number 296, "Goodness is Stronger Than Evil." So once we get done here with some Bible readings and some meditating on the Bible verse, we're going to move on to, I've literally never looked at that piece. I happened to, my son kind of flipped open the hymnal the other day, and I saw the title and I was like, that's going to be our morning meditation for the next time I do one. And I try to do it before I get my son onto the bus. So it's a way for me to kind of wake up, get ready for the day, and feel like I've started off on a really good foot before Jesus. Yeah, I do consider myself a follower of, the Nazarene, the man from Nazareth, Jesus, the Christ, the Messiah, born of the Virgin Mary, raised by the carpenter Joseph, I've been raised in a church, raised in the church through my childhood, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the sub. Please, like, follow, share, all that jazz. Okay, we have a quick Q&A. So push elevator buttons multiple. No, actually, I do not. So let me see if I answer this. How does this work? Oh, let me make it green, and then I think if I do the little. I push the elevator button once, assuming that the light turns on. Okay, I can't do it. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to do a typed text. I don't want to waste people's time with me, so I'm just going to, hide it up in the corner there. So, start Q&A. Yeah, so as long as I can see the response that the light has been lit, I will push the button once and then I will wait patiently. I'm very good about, once my request has been acknowledged, I've pushed the button, the light turns on. I'm very good at being patient. Now, if the light doesn't turn on and there's seemingly no feedback to me that the light was pushed, then I will hammer that button. I'm going to floor 3. Get me to floor 3 now. I'm a drummer as well as a piano player, so the speed at which I can hammer a button has been well tuned over years of drumming practice. But getting back to our reading today, so the footnote here for 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 11, it says that there's a wordplay in Greek here, not a word that means working, but instead the word that means being a busybody or meddling. Ergazomonius versus para-ergazomonius. So it's those who refuse to work or exploiting their free time to meddle in others' affairs. I suggest you can also look up 1 Timothy 5:13, which is actually what the Google was going to recommend that we go over to. And over there, we have irreligious prying flows from idleness. So let's go ahead, both the ESV Study Bible here and the Google recommended that we go to 1 Timothy 5:13. So I already had that bookmarked here, 1 Timothy 5:13. And it reads, "Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going about from house to house, and not only idlers, but also gossips and busybodies, saying what they should not." So there we have it again, this call out to being a busybody, being an admonition against such practices. So while we are called to be busy, going about the Lord's work, we do not want in any way to be busybodies. So when you're reflecting on the phrase, or if it ever comes to mind the phrase that idle hands are the devil's playground, while that phrase is not biblical, there are 3 verses we just discussed and looked into. We meditate on that today. That are your hands being busy for the Lord's work, or are you tempted in any way to fall into idleness and being a busybody, where you're maybe meddling in other people's affairs, or you're prying into areas that aren't religiously or spiritually beneficial for the kingdom of God? And those 3 verses were Proverbs 16:27, 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 11, and 1 Timothy 5:13. We also had this morning the square daily proverb. So I like to think that just as they say a daily apple keeps the doctor away, a square proverb a day keeps the adversary at bay. So today's square proverb came out of the very tail end of chapter 7 into chapter 8. Chapter 7 verse 26 and 27, and then into chapter 8 verses 1 and 2. I might as well go ahead and read those real quick for anybody who has hopped in and missed it at the beginning. "For many a victim has she laid low, and all her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the chambers of death." Now moving on to chapter 8. "The blessings of wisdom. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand." And so there also, we have that reflection of you have a crossroads, a choice to make. You can be idle and a busybody, or you can be a good soldier and be busy towards the kingdom of God. So choose this day to be good, to be a busy worker in the kingdom of God, and instead to shun evilness, to shun wickedness. And while we reflect on that, we're going to open, or I'm going to, for the first time ever, and it looks like this might be a tricky one, we're going to attempt to play hymn 296 out of the Worship and Rejoice hymnal. Goodness is stronger than evil. So there you can have it. I'll go ahead and read the lyrics. Actually, so lyric wise, this is a very simple piece. But because it is, so this is in what's called 6/8. So it's da 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 da. So it feels more swung than straight. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and then so the lyrics. There's only one line. Goodness is stronger than evil. Love is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Victory is through him who loved, through him who loved, through him who loved us. And it bounces back and forth. So let's go ahead and turn on my keyboard here. So this has two sharps. So F sharp and C sharp. And if I think of my circle of fifths, two sharps, bead, go, catch. I believe that's the key of D, which actually I love the key of D. Okay, just gonna turn this up a little bit more. So it starts on that D. All right, so it's from D. Goodness is stronger. Goodness is stronger than evil. 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 This is a really pretty piece. At least I think it is. All right, so we have goodness is strong, goodness is stronger than evil. Love is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through him who loves. movie you can quote by heart? Not an entire movie, but several movies. There's bits and pieces I can probably do. The first one is no, I am your father. That's an easy quote. Um, See, I'm more of a visual guy than an auditory. So like the movies right now that are coming to mind are the images of some of these movies. Oh, okay. Here's one. I'll go with the movie Miracle. I'll go with the movie Miracle, and it's something along the lines of so they're skating in Switzerland or Norway or wherever, practicing to get ready for the Olympics. If you're not familiar with the movie Miracle, it follows the story of. You're very welcome, Silver Chubbs. Thanks for joining in. The VOD will be up soon, so you'll be able to catch up whatever you missed, and maybe you can go back to the beginning if you need a refresher. um, hello ish. 4951. I'm just gonna go with that. Hello 4951. So moving on to hard. The coach, Coach Brooks, is making the team skate just gassers, suicides, whatever you want to call them, where they're back line, blue line, back line, mid line, back line, blue line, back line, other back line, and back. So they're completely exhausted, and he's waiting, and he keeps shouting at them, who do you play for? Who do you play for? I think is what he says, and then ultimately, finally, Rizzo, one of the team members that hasn't really been particularly good, but apparently was picked for a reason. He says, he says his name. Who do you play for? He says, I play for the United States of America. And Coach Brooks finally says, you need to get it through your head that the name on the back is a hell of a lot more important than the name on the front. Or no, the name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the name on the back, because on the front of the jersey was USA, and on the back was like that person's last name, and so it was about you had to be willing to go for, be willing to play for above what you were doing, and instead, play for the greater good. Play for the team, not just yourself. But back to the song here. Goodness is stronger than evil. Love is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through him who loved us. All right, so that's the melody line. That's all there is to the song. I mean, there is the bass, which oh my, what is it? It's only 6:03, so I still have about 10 more minutes here before I need to go get the boy, start waking him up for the school bus and getting ready for the day. So I guess the bass is so tricky. The left hand is tricky. The right hand's a little bit easier, but let's try to see this. All right, so it starts on a D. well, I can at least try to play through it, but yeah, I'm not gonna be able to put these together by any means. Oh, is that a C? That's a C. Oh, C natural. Oh, that's kind of ugly. But that's what it's calling for. Why does that just sound wrong? Victory is ours. Okay, there it kind of sounds nice. But yeah, so C natural. Well, hello, 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 Raymond Huber. And good morning. Hey, Butters! Oh, Butters, if I recall correctly, you are not too happy with how the game turned out the other night. But, oh, poor Loop. He's probably going to lose his job. I feel so bad for Loop. Yeah. Yeah, well, what can you do? What can you do? And, Pittsburgh's going to go and probably get their rear ends handed to them by the Texans. So it's not like it's huge solace anyway. But I hope Tyler Luke doesn't lose his job. But that's a rough way to end the season for a rookie who had a decent year, not a great year, but a decent year, and that's how you're going to end it. Oh, that's rough. It is definitely rough. But hey, it is what it is. That's why we watch the game to see a cool ending like that. Getting back, I'm so close here on the bass clef, finishing off this. Oh, so victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through yeah, so how's the new Pix going? Oh my goodness, it's phenomenal. It feels so much more snappy. Like apps that I used to think were bogging down apparently weren't. The software issue, it was a hardware issue with my Pixel 8. The real question is going to be whether my wife starts to like the Pixel 8 because how we had to do like the flippy flop hand me down thing. Her line was eligible for an upgrade, mine wasn't. So like we swapped her 6 with my 8, and then we upgraded her 6 to the 10, and then we had to do switch again. Like it was weird, but it worked. And so she now has my 8, and the 6 is just sort of up in the air. We didn't have to trade it in because the line was just eligible for an upgrade. So that was kind of nice. And yeah, like this is actually being recorded on the 10. I don't know if the video quality, the audio quality is any different for you guys on your end. I'd be curious to hear about that. But yeah, just oh my goodness. And like it feels lighter, it just feels smoother and just feels new and fresh. It's a new device. So to catch you up, Butters here, we were doing our daily study on the phrase idle hands are the devil's playground or the devil's handiwork. Turns out that phrase itself is not biblical anywhere, but there are some Bible verses that really reflect and allude to that concept. So please, whenever this goes up as a VOD, go back and watch. You can go to my Facebook group that I have founded and that I manage to get the Daily Square Proverb. So the Daily Square Proverb was the tail end of chapter 7, the beginning of chapter 8. So you can check out the Daily Square Proverb there. Probably what I should also do is I probably should do a link for the highlight, because YouTube does a nice little highlight short of these. Idle hands. Yeah, idle hands do well. Yeah, and so it turns out what the Bible verses we're talking about in Proverbs, I believe. Hold on, let me pull them out here. I felt like I was done with them, but I should have known I'm not done yet. So Proverbs 16:27 talks about how an evil person, an evil human, or sorry, how did it say? Now I'm blanking on it, but it's gonna bug me. So I'll just go instead of breaking out the hefty ESV, we'll go with the slightly more compact. What is this? NASB. So my baptism Bible, NASB. So Proverbs 16:27. Never a bad idea. So my grams used to say this to me when I was my grandma. I think this was before I was in my teenage years. If I made the mistake of being like, "Mammy," that's what we call my grandmother. "Mammy, I'm bored." She'd look at me and go, "Oh, really? You're bored? Well, I got a laundry list of chores that you can help me with. Now get on down here and help me," because I live just up the hill from her. So that was my mammy's advice was if I was bored, she could fix that lickety split. So 16:27. Here, a worthless. That's what it was. A worthless person, a worthless human, worthless man, digs up evil, while his words are like scorching fire. Like, look at. That vivid imagery is just wow. So and then you can flip that. So, be cautious, be warned of anybody whose words are like scorching fire, because that may imply that they are a worthless man who digs up evil or who plots evil, is what the ESV said. Then there was 2 Thessalonians 3:11. So let me try to find 2 Thessalonians here in the New Testament. 2 Thessalonians is not very big, so just gonna make sure not to pass it. Yeah, sword drill, everybody. Who can put 2 Thessalonians 3:11 in the chat box for me? 2 Thessalonians, not first. So 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians 3:11. Wow, literally. Yeah, like you can miss 2 Thessalonians so easily because it's barely a page and a half. It takes up 2 physical pages in here. So 3:11. For we hear that some among you are leading an undisciplined life, doing no work at all, but acting like busybodies. And what was really nice in the ESV Study Bible over there, it elaborated that there was some wordplay in Greek going on, where the word for busy is like ergozomonos, but then the word for busybodies is para-ergozomonos. So by adding that para or perio or peri, I don't speak Greek. I don't read Greek, but so there was some wordplay there where to be busy was the ergozomonos, like good, but then to be a busybody, somebody who is idle or gossips or does things that aren't fruitful, is para-ergozomonos. So there's wordplay going on with Paul here when he was writing to the second letter to the Thessalonians, and then barely flip over to 1 Timothy 5:13. Literally, I think I turned like 2 or 3 pages. So 1 Timothy 5:13. At the same time, they also learn to be idle as they go around from house to house, and not merely idle, but also gossips and busybodies, talking about things not proper to mention. So there you have it, where it goes a little deeper on what it means to be um, a busybody, where it's someone who's idle, who gossips. Basically, like, you're just spinning your wheels in the mud. You're not actually going anywhere. You're not being productive. Um, so yeah, I think it was really a really good reflection this morning. That was the verse that came to mind when I was like, what am I going to talk about this morning on my morning meditation? And I Googled, hey Gemini. I don't even think technically it was Gemini. It was the AI assistant. It was just the Google search bar, and I was like, is this phrase biblical? Or I think I just maybe Googled the phrase, idle hands are the devil's handiwork, or really how you said idle hands do the devil's work. And then, yeah, of course, we have our grandmothers to thank for not letting us be bored, not letting us be idle. And then it was, again, just in the seemingly coincidence, but we don't believe in coincidences here. This channel, no, coincidences are not a thing. Coincidences are us misattributing God's handiwork at play. So my son opened up the other day. He was here at the piano, because this is actually his room, and he's sleeping in my bed, because apparently my bed's more comfortable or safer, who knows. He's 4. So he opened up to the hymn 296 out of the Worship and Rejoice hymnal by the Hope Publishing Company. 296, goodness is stronger than evil. And it's been a really nice piece to study here, to focus on this morning, because again, like in Proverbs 16:27, it said about how, a worthless human plots evil, and then their words are like scorching fire. And fire can be a good thing. Like, fire is for heat, fire is for cooking, but a scorching fire does no good. A scorching fire ruins. So just all of the imagery really, really played nicely together. And I didn't plan any of it. I'm just trying to be the mouthpiece as best I can. So, all right, it is 6:16, which is about the time that I need to go turn on the light for my son. So I will just sing through Goodness is Stronger Than Evil one last time, and then call it a day. Call it a morning. Call it a morning. The day has barely begun, not a day. Call it a morning. Goodness is stronger than evil. Love is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through him who loved us. So that's all I have for everybody this morning. If you've tuned in along, thank you so much for joining. If you happen to find this later down the road as a VOD, video on demand, I pray and ask that the good Lord above, the Almighty, the creator of all things, will add blessing to its hearing, and that you will be a good steward, that you'll use your talents not in idleness, but in productive, busy work. Not busy work, but you will be productively busy for the kingdom of God. So go forth, maybe get off YouTube, take a deep breath, march out proudly into this world that we live in, and be in the world, but not of the world. That is my prayer to all of you out there. So get off YouTube. You've done enough digitally now. You've been on here for who knows how long. Go touch grass, take a deep breath of fresh air, and go do something amazing already. Peace out. Talk to you later.